Good morning over the week. Good morning on the worshipers. Over the week, I've been thinking about this particular topic, and I think the best place to do it is to come by the beach side to explain what I'm saying in a nutshell. What did I mean by this? Over the week, I've been thinking of what we call the mightiness of God, and I'll be giving some explanation of how mighty this God is. And for those who say there's no God, wow, I think you have to rethink. You have to rethink about this. It's so important to know that there's someone called God who owns the life, who owns my life. You can see it's a beautiful day. On the worshipers, we're going around the world to bring you people, tribe, and tongues. But this time around, we'll be deviating a little bit to look at or dive into a topic I called the mightiness of God. It's going to be in series. We'll be going to places. We'll be showing some of the things to show that yes, this God we're serving is a mighty God. Yes, indeed, he's a mighty God. And the first series we'll be starting with is the ocean. Like you can see behind me is the ocean. I'll be giving you some details about this ocean and how to show the mightiness of this God we are serving. Like the Bible said, it said only the fool said there is no God. But with this, we want to really, educate you or show you that yes, indeed, there's God. There's someone sits upon the circumference of the earth. Yes. Like someone said, he rules over the surging sea. As you can see, of course, he rules over the surging sea. I'll be giving you some nuggets this morning to think, to know that yes, there is God, and the God we are serving is mighty. And that's the reason why I tagged this particular episode, the mightiness of God. It's going to be in series. We'll be going to different places. We'll be showing you one of the things God has actually created for we mankind. To tell you, he loves us so much. God loves us so much. He loves us so much. I don't know, maybe you have come to realize there's a lot to learn from this sea, from this ocean. Yes, from this sea. Have you ever wondered the size of this sea? Do you know that the 70% of the Earth's surface is spanning on an area community which is about 361 million. 361 million, that's huge, square kilometer. Meaning that is the size of this sea. Because sometimes we may just see all these things, but we may not have a depth of it. But I've come to tell you this morning that the size of this sea is 70% of the surface of the earth. I mean it. Meaning the earth itself is just a tiny pieces. A tiny pieces. A tiny pieces. You need to know that. And to explain it all is about an area of approximately 361 square kilometer, meaning the capacity at which this sea is sitting on. Have you ever think of that? And God has blessed man so much to go this far to measure this. Kudos for those, or for the person that has actually done this wonderful thing. From my research, I come to realize that this is huge, meaning the oceans rather, is taking about 70% of the Earth's surface. Wow. Have you ever think about the depth of this ocean? Wow. The depth is something amazing. The depth varies greatly anyway. And with the deepest point at the Mariana Trench, which reaches a depth of about 11,000 meters. If you are a student of mathematics, you can calculate that. You can calculate that. Have you ever think about the volume? Meaning the water that is in this. Have you ever think about what is holding this? How has God tried to immerse this inside a particular place? Yes. What's the volume? The volume of this ocean, it holds approximately about 1 billion cubic kilometer of water. Can anybody hold that in his palm? Not at all. But God has hold this in his palm. God has hold this in his palm. If you're still thinking of, is there any God anywhere, or who is this man they are talking about, I want to assure you this morning that there is God seated upon the throne of his holiness, designing all of this for mankind. And also there are some things you don't know, but I will want to tell you this morning that yes, there are some species, a whole lot, you need to just sit down and relax and come to realize that God has done so much for mankind, and the only thing we can pay back is to show our love to him by serving him forever. Serving him forever, and that's it. There are some components you need to understand. What are those components? Temperature, something like temperature, something like salinity, and not only that, we have current. You need to do research about all of these that I'm trying to blow your mind off. You may be hearing this for the first time, and you being a student of research, you may try to nod your head and say, well, I think that guy is right. Yes, you can say it. You can drop a comment about this. Do you understand that the salinity of this ocean is an average around 3.5%, with variation depending on the factors like location, depth, meaning it could be different from that of different places. The one in Nigeria could be different from the one in different part of the world. But I'll bring you this morning that God has created all these things just for mankind. It's so wonderful to hear this. Not only that, have you ever think about temperature? Meaning their life on their own. The same way human beings have their own temperature. Yes, there's temperature that control this, and that temperature is ranging from a near freezing in polar region to about over 30% Celsius in tropical areas. Wow. God actually think about all these things. And when God is putting all these things in his place, he's thinking about man too. He's not thinking for himself. He has created this for mankind. Have you ever wondered those species under the sea? There are species. I was made to understand there are over 200,000 species under the sea that is uncovered. Wow. And we have different species of fish. Different species of fish. There's one I saw this morning. I was amazed. You understand? I was amazed. I will bring you the picture, and you need to know that this God is mighty. You need to think about all of this and always give praise to his name. You will have no choice but to declare his wonders. The wonders of this God is great. The wonders of this God. Let me just try and blow your mind a little bit about the marine life underneath the sea. Wow, what do I mean by marine life? We have, before I said that, there are species. Let me just put it that way. There are species. The same way we have different men living on the earth, we have different animals under the sea. And you know what? There's some things I have come to realize, and then sit down who is the mastermind? What is God thinking? And most of these fish, they are different. They are different. When you're talking about tilapia fish, there's a whole lot that I've heard this morning. I was wondering, God, you mean to sit down to design all of these things? Yes. You won't believe that their scales even is different from each other. There's a particular fish I come across this morning. I was made to understand that this fish has no bone. The little bone is just one bone holding it on. I was like, wow, are you serious? I was shocked. And that's it. Different things underneath the sea. Over 200,000. You can confirm it if you are a student of research to confirm what I'm saying this morning. We have what we call biodiversity. I'm talking about marine life under the sea. What is bloody diversity? He said is the ocean home to an estimated of over 200,000 identified species, with many more waiting to discover. Is God not mighty? It is mighty indeed. I mean, it is mighty indeed. What about the phytoplankton? Wow, I love that that pronunciation. We have what we call phytoplankton. We say these are microscopic, meaning tiny plants from the sea, which is based from food web. Meaning based from ocean sea web, food web. Meaning there are plants under the sea. There are plants under the sea. There are plants that you cannot see. Yes, plants you cannot see. Not only that, there are marine mammals. Wow. Those mammals, you understand what mammals is? You understand? From whales, dolphins, sea lions, and so many. There are just few I just need to mention, you understand? So that's it. So, God has, put all of this together. Dolphin is one of the closest. I mean, one of the closest to man. I don't know, maybe you've come across those videos where you realize that you can play with dolphins and so many other ones. Sea lions, well, you may not be able to play with it, and so many other sea creatures, sharks are there. And these are the things that made me to pound over this thing over the years. No, sorry, not over the years, over the week. I was like, man, this God is mighty, and I need to just do something about it to glorify his name. You need to just come to this Jesus. You need to come to realize that God has created all of this. I mean, he has created all of this. Not only creating this, there's some what we call human impact. What are human impact on this sea? The human impact on this sea has actually been pollution. Let me tell you the real truth. Not only pollution, overfishing. Not only overfishing, sometimes climate. Then economic importance. What are the economic importance? Let me just put it that way. There's no way we won't say this before we dive into the spiritual aspect of this ocean. In the world we live, there's what we call disadvantages and there are advantages, and all of these need to be known. There are impacts, meaning human impact on this sea. Pollution, climate change, not only that, overfishing. When you hunt for a particular fish over the years, you discover you won't get them anymore. You understand? And that's the reason why we need to conserve these particular creatures. They are creatures from God too. Not only that, we have economic impact. What is the impact of this ocean to us? The impact is nothing but food source. Yes, food source. Also, we have transportation. You can do a research about this. When I say transportation, have you ever wondered how a boat or a yacht or a ship will sit on this same sea and is still standing? Of course, it can convey people from one place to the other. This same sea, the creatures in it, they are edible for food. Wow. Like I told you, God created this for mankind. And out of this, man also have come to realize that yes, there's need to do more. And that's the reason why you come across the creation or the invent of yachts or boats. Wow, it's great. It's great. I can't hide it, but to tell you all of this morning, we'll be diving into so many other things to show the mightiness of God, which will be in series. I want you to follow us on YouTube to get a full details of this, like as we'll be bringing you the next episode on the mightiness of God. This morning we are only looking at the ocean or the sea, how how God has, put this in place. Yes, he said he rules over the surging sea. This is what we're talking about. God rules over the surging sea. He created all of this for mankind. And that's it. Thank you, as we'll be bringing you the next episode.